The slogan of the Worship College is that we teach biblical principles and worship leadership skills, which will enhance all styles of worship. In other words, when you attend the Worship College, either on campus or by email, we're not trying to change your style of worship. If you want to sing Gregorian chant, and that's your style of worship, I won't tell you to change that. I'll show you how you can enter into the presence of God through the style that you use, and I will show you how to lead others into God's presence. Because of the mission statement of the Worship College, biblical principles, worship leading skills for all styles of worship, we have developed 2 tracks of training. The first track would be the biblical track, and the second track would be the practical track. Some of the things that you will learn in the practical track are fundamentals of music, beginner's piano, beginner's guitar, vocal techniques, songwriting for worship, working in a worship team, drama ministry and how it inspires worship, movement in worship, as you saw a few minutes ago, Brother Ken worshiping God in the dance and with the flag, and supporting worship and administrating worship. Those are the topics that we teach in the practical track. But in the biblical track, which is the uniqueness of the Worship College, the biblical track has 3 main courses which run for 2 years. The first year we cover the course called Portrait of a Worshipper. That is, we're supposed to get done in 1 year. We had to go over last year. Anyway, the first year we talk about what a worshiper looks like and how do you become a worshiper. And it is a very intense or very in-depth study of what a biblical worshiper is, because God has a way He wants to be worshipped. The second course in this biblical track is called Corporate Worship, or the expanded title is called Aspects of Corporate Worship. We talk about the difference between individual worship and corporate worship, the different dynamics between them. And then, after we have talked about corporate worship, we follow that up. Since everything done in the corporate setting in the church of the Lord is done by leadership. Paul said, "Be followers of me as I follow Christ." That is the New Testament Spirit-led leadership pattern. So, when a worship leader or a pastor stands before the congregation, they are saying the same thing that Paul said. Be followers of me, even as I follow Christ. That's why, if that person doesn't follow Christ, God will usually take steps to change things in one way or another, and hopefully bring them to a brokenness so that they will follow Christ, so that that principle can be adhered to. Be followers of me as I am of Christ, and that is what a worship leader is saying, or the position a worship leader is taking when they stand before the congregation. They're saying, be followers of me as I follow Christ. And if they are following Christ, you will enter into the presence of God. You will sense the presence of God, just like we felt tonight. And we felt, some of you would maybe testify of a physical manifestation. Some of you will just testify of an inner peace. You know, the way God manifests himself to you may be different than the way he manifests himself to the person sitting next to you. But what we want is the presence of God, because the presence of God is the goal. Worship is never the goal. Worship is the way to get to the goal, because he is holy who inhabits the praises of his people. So if we praise and worship God, then he feels comfortable to inhabit that praise and that worship. And so then we experience the presence of God, the manifestation of God's presence, the presence of God. And when God is present,